Genesis 22. Genesis 22 verse 1. Now after these things, God put Abraham to the test and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. Genesis 22 verse 2. And he said to him, Take your son, your dearly loved only son Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah and give him as a burned offering on one of the mountains of which I will give you knowledge. Genesis 22 verse 3. And Abraham got up early in the morning, and made ready his ass, and took with him 2 of his young men and Isaac, his son, and after the wood for the burned offering had been cut, he went on his way to the place of which God had given him word. Genesis 22 verse 4. And on the 3rd day, Abraham, lifting up his eyes, saw the place a long way off. Genesis 22 verse 5. Then he said to his young men, Keep here with the ass, and I and the boy will go on, and give worship and come back again to you. Genesis 22 verse 6. And Abraham put the wood for the burned offering on his son's back, and he himself took the fire and the knife in his hand, and the 2 of them went on together. Genesis 22 verse 7. Then Isaac said to Abraham, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, We have wood and fire here, but where is the lamb for the burned offering? Genesis 22 verse 8. And Abraham said, God himself will give the lamb for the burned offering. So they went on together. Genesis 22 verse 9. And they came to the place of which God had given him knowledge. And there Abraham made the altar and put the wood in place on it, and having made tight the bands round Isaac his son, he put him on the wood on the altar. Genesis 22 verse 10. And stretching out his hand, Abraham took the knife to put his son to death. Genesis 22 verse 11. But the voice of the angel of the Lord came from heaven, saying, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. Genesis 22 verse 12. And he said, Let not your hand be stretched out against the boy to do anything to him. For now I am certain that the fear of God is in your heart, because you have not kept back your son, your only son, from me. Genesis 22 verse 13. And lifting up his eyes, Abraham saw a sheep fixed by its horns in the brushwood. And Abraham took the sheep and made a burned offering of it in place of his son. Genesis 22 verse 14. And Abraham gave that place the name Yahweh-Yireh, as it is said to this day, In the mountain the Lord is seen. Genesis 22 verse 15. And the voice of the angel of the Lord came to Abraham a second time from heaven. Genesis 22 verse 16, saying, I have taken an oath by my name, says the Lord, because you have done this, and have not kept back from me your dearly loved only son. Genesis 22 verse 17. That I will certainly give you my blessing, and your seed will be increased like the stars of heaven and the sand by the seaside. Your seed will take the land of those who are against them. Genesis 22 verse 18. And your seed will be a blessing to all the nations of the earth, because you have done what I gave you orders to do. Genesis 22 verse 19. Then Abraham went back to his young men, and they went together to Beersheba, the place where Abraham was living. Genesis 22 verse 20. After these things, Abraham had news that Milcah, the wife of his brother Nahor, had given birth to children. Genesis 22 verse 21. Uzi the oldest, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram. Genesis 22 verse 22. And Chesed and Hazo and Pildash and Jidlaph and Bethuel. Genesis 22 verse 23. Bethuel was the father of Rebekah. These 8 were the children of Milcah and Nahor, Abraham's brother. Genesis 22 verse 24. And his servant Reumah gave birth to Tebah and Gaham and Tahash and Maacah.